Whether we like it or not, realtors are investigators, and this is one of the most common patterns that I've seen when deed theft and fraudulent transactions begin. Very often, the person claiming to be the seller will reach out to an agent and say that they live out of state and that the property is being rented, and they'll add on one specific line: "We don't want to disturb the tenants." On the surface, none of that sounds unusual. Out-of-state owners are common. Tenant-occupied properties are common. But when those details are used to avoid verification, that's when realtors need to slow everything down. Here's how you should handle it. First, out-of-state sellers should still be verified live. That means Zoom or FaceTime. You should show a valid government-issued ID on camera, and distance and time zones are not a reason to skip this step. Second, if the seller claims that the property is rented, you should request documentation. A legitimate owner should be able to provide a copy of a lease that includes tenant names and basic tenant contact information. That is standard in tenant-occupied sales. Third, I would check public records. Again, review county records and property tax records and see whether the property is listed as owner-occupied or non-owner occupied. If the records show owner-occupied but the seller claims that there's a tenant, that discrepancy needs to be explained before anything moves forward. If a seller is refusing any level of verification and they won't do a live video call, they won't provide documentation, they won't allow cross-checking, and they keep hiding behind out-of-state or don't want to disturb the tenants, personally, that's where I would take an extra step. At that point, I would go to the property myself and knock on the door. I mean, obviously, you're not there to accuse anyone and you're not there to cause disruption, but you do want to do your best to confirm whether the person you're dealing with is actually the right owner and to understand who's really occupying that property. Tenants do not need to be notified the moment a property is listed, but they do have the right to know who the legal owner is, and they must be notified if there's going to be a change in ownership prior to the close of escrow. Tenant occupancy should never be used as a shield to avoid verification. Out-of-state sellers are not the problem. Tenant-occupied properties are not the problem. Refusing verification at every level is. And until the laws change, realtors have to rely on due diligence, common sense, and being willing to slow the process down even when it's uncomfortable. Legitimate sellers expect verification. Fraud relies on avoidance.